Thank you for watching. I've got about 20 minutes on the memory card. Alright. I have recently read some of the essays at the website sciencemeetsreligion.org. That website seems to be populated, written by theistic evolutionists. That website seems to be the writings of atheistic evolutionists. I'm sorry I just wasted your time saying the same thing. But I've got some questions for those who fit that category. So here we go. To those of you who are theistic evolutionists, some of you say the earth looks old. The universe looks old. Okay, the universe probably is. But the earth looks old. How do you know the earth looks old? I know when I see a person that looks old, and you do too, because you have other evidences of the age of the person, and as we go through life, we've seen, except for the extremely rare hermits, we've all at least seen several hundred people, if not many, many thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, depending on how much time you spend in public or how much your job has you dealing with the public instead of, staring at a machine. And we have seen newborn babies. We know what they look like. We have seen our own children, cousins, brothers and sisters, neighbors' kids, and we knew about how old they were from talking to them, from people saying, "This is Grandma," from "It's Grandma's 80th birthday, yay, happy birthday, Grandma." So we know how old a person looks, what an old person looks like because of that. But you have never seen a young Earth and a medium Earth and an old Earth. You've never seen different Earths to compare it with, to know what a young Earth would look like and an old Earth would look like. Cars. Vehicles. How do you know if you're looking at an old vehicle? Well, there's two different ways you might. If you're an expert in models of cars and you like learning about the classics, you might be able to look at it and say, that's a 57 Chevy restored. Oh yeah, and that one, that's a 70-something Camaro. That's a 50-something. If you're not an expert in that way, you still might think, I think that's one of the older models of cars. And probably be right about it. And if you're not following cars that closely, you still know what a brand new car at a showroom looks like. Even if you've never bought a brand new car, you've probably looked into it. You've probably driven by a new car lot. They're very shiny. You can see that new car shine. You can see the tires aren't worn. There's no dirt and grime building up on the hubcaps. So when you see a car that's paint isn't shining like that, you can say, that looks like an old car. Same thing, you haven't seen old and young Earths to compare with, so how do you know the Earth looks old? Next question. This is only a question to the theistic evolutionists who say we can't trust the Bible about anything except the spiritual things, but then you're not making sense to me. If we can't trust it about the creation, about the flood, about how sin got started on this earth, about the fall of man, but then we can trust it about other stuff. Like whether there's a God and we need to believe in Him and how to be saved. Doesn't make any sense to me. But some of you have said that we can't trust the Bible because it does not tell us that the sun is just another star. Here's a question for you. Can you name one, even one other star that gives us sunburn and makes dark glasses a good idea? I can't. So then there are differences between the sun, and the Bible is not being scientifically inaccurate if it describes the sun different than the stars. especially if you're thinking about 1 Corinthians chapter 15, Paul is comparing the brightness of the sun, moon, and stars as we see them here on earth, and not talking about what it would look like if we were right next to the many stars up there. Okay. Some of you, I've read, have presented a false dichotomy. We can't learn anything from the Bible scientifically, since it's not a scientific textbook or treatise, or it is a scientific textbook and we can learn from it. You prevent a false dichotomy. At least one person has, and I read their essay at the website that I mentioned at the start of the video. Isn't it possible there's a middle ground there? If a book is true, it might not be only about one subject, but when it touches on that subject, it will be accurate. A biography about George Washington. I'm thinking about the president, not somebody else named George Washington. Would that biography give us accurate information about guns? Yes. Would it tell us all things about all guns? No. The Bible, it's accurate in what it tells us about things. That biography about George Washington won't tell us about M16s and M4s and Garands and AK-47s, but it'll tell us about the guns at that time period. If we read a biography about General George S. Patton, will we learn about muzzleloader guns from that? No. Does that mean it's lying about guns? No, it's just not giving us all the details about that thing, but it's accurate when it touches on that thing. If you read a biography about Calvin Coolidge, will you learn every little thing about American culture and sociology that there is to be learned? No. But you will learn accurate details, assuming all these hypothetical biographies are accurate. You'll learn accurate details about the things it does talk about. If you read about the inventor of some train technology in the 1800s, will you learn about everything about the 1800s? No, but it might touch on other things. You might learn a little bit about the politics or the government at the time. It won't give you inaccurate information about those things, or there might be room to find out more details about those things. So why can't we look at the Bible that way, instead of, not trying to learn anything from it? Let's see, did I beat that dead horse enough? And, alright, to those of you theistic evolutionists who say it's amazing that God caused the Big Bang and set this all in motion, and it's amazing he did it that way. Don't you see that you're accusing God of being stupid and weak to not get it done quickly? I just wonder if you would call a person amazing and knowledgeable if it takes him his whole lifetime to get something done with chemicals. If it takes somebody 20 years to build their first bicycle, after making millions of failures, would you call that person smart, or would you call that person determined and stupid? I wouldn't call somebody smart if it takes them extremely long times to create something, and I wouldn't call God extremely wonderful, smart, omniscient, and omnipotent if it takes him billions of years to make this planet for us. But God didn't take billions of years to make this planet for us, as according to my understanding, and so he is not those things. So thank you for watching. You have a good day.